Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my landscape journey. In today's episode, we're going to learn how to create and program a procedural railing that adapts to our terrain. This means that we are going to be able to control a railing with a spline, and this railing is going to take the shape of the terrain. That's it, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our terrain. For doing this, I'm going to select the plane tool and I'm going to type 20 meters by 10 meters, and I'm going to add 100 segments per 250 segments. To be able to see the segments, we need to press F4 on the keyboard. And now I'm going to deactivate this grid behind by pressing G on the keyboard. We're going to add a noise modifier to our plane to make our terrain interesting. So I'm going to scroll down, type noise, and I'm going to increase the Z value to get something like this. Probably on the scale, I'll scale it a little bit. And now I'm going to add a F22 modifier. I'm going to select control points, and I'm going to move these 2 points up. So this is the shape that we're going to work with. And now I'm going to create our railing. I'm going to go to AEC Extended and I'm going to click on the railing tool. Press and hold the mouse and extend. And now I am going to modify the dimensions of a railing to something that we like. For the depth is actually going to be 0.01. and for the width it's going to be 0.07. For the lower rails, I'm going to select 0.02 by 0.02, and these ones are going to be round. For the fencing, I want to do spacing. I want to do divide entirely object and ends, and I want a spacing of 1.2 meters. And well, we have here a traditional railing. Probably we can increase the lower rails to 2. Now we're going to create the spline that is going to be used as a path for a railing. For doing this, I'm going to go to shapes and I'm going to select splines. I'm going to go to top view and I'm going to draw a very simple spline. Now I want to go to modifiers. I'm going to click on vertex, select all the vertex, right click and click on smooth. Now maximize perspective view and let's move that spline. Select the spline, let's move that spline up. Now here is the important trick. I am going to make a reference of this spline. For doing so, I'm going to select the Z axis, press and hold shift key and drag it down. And here on this panel, you're going to click on reference. Now, these two references have the same amount of vertex. But now, in this reference spline, we're going to add a normalized spline modifier. We're going to click on show nodes and we are going to click on linear segments. So what this is doing is that this is adding extra vertex every 0.50 centimeters. We can reduce this to 0.40, but the original spline has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertexes. Now let's conform this spline to the terrain. For doing that, I'm going to select the reference and I'm going to click on conform, and I'm going to pick object and I'm going to select this terrain. As you can see, the spline is perfectly conformed to the terrain. And now I am going to select the railing. I'm going to go to modify, pick railing path, and I'm going to select the reference conformed line. As you can see, it's not doing it perfectly because we need to increase the amount of segments. So we're going to increase the segments until we have something smooth. Probably 128 will work. And now we have a railing that has been adapted and conformed to our terrain. So if we go to the original spline and then move the vertex a little bit, for example, let's move it this way, and then get out of there, the railing is gonna be adapting procedurally to the terrain. Now let's say that we go back to the terrain and we decide to control the noise and increase it a little bit more or reduce it a little bit more. So the railing is changing with our terrain. Now let's make a copy of this one and select copy. For this one, for the plane, we're gonna go back to original settings and we're gonna increase the length to 50. And now let's say that we want to tweak this line further. So I'm gonna go something like this, and then we're gonna escape. We're gonna click on the railing again, and we're gonna tell the software that I want this path. Now this has been added to the path, and if we tweak the shape, the railing is gonna move with it. And this is a very interesting exercise, because if we decide to tweak the original spline a little, for example, we can add a vertex right here, and then we decide to move that vertex a little bit inside, it's still gonna respect all the modifiers and it's gonna be completely adapted to our terrain. And there we go. On this tutorial, guys, you have learned how to create a procedural, adaptable railing that changes its shape according to the spline and according to the terrain. Guys, I hope you had enjoyed this tutorial. If you like it, please click the button of subscribe, like the video. If you know a method of how we can do this more efficient, please let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.